Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello,
Hello.
Mr. Bond.
Joey, you're the first one on my screen.
Alright, I am playing Connor Leone, and I am very concerned for Birdie's well-being.
And then Travis.
I'm playing Victor Oswald, the hero in someone else's villain story. I don't know. I'm trying to make it sound cool, though.
Okay. And Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry. I play as James. I am the medic, the nerd, and the traumatized child.
Yippee!
And Brian.
Good evening, I'm Bri, and I'm playing Bernadette Brand, who I might use as a tool to excise Fluffy from this planet.
Are we gonna exercise Victor so hard that it affects Travis?
Yes.
That would be very good. that would be beneficial.
Wait, who's in possession of who? Whom?
Ooh.
That's the question, isn't it?
Alright, I believe when we left off, you had just had a discussion with Dr. Sung, who, Birdie, you have some suspicions of the man.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
many suspicions.
He has asked for your help rectifying a robbery that Birdie alone witnessed last night when a book was stolen from him. The Book of Red Jade. He has told you that in the wrong hands it could be extremely difficult, or extremely dangerous, and he's pretty sure that any hands except his are the wrong hands. Connor, you agreed to meet him in a smoking room alone after the funeral today, and you're going to determine if you trust anything he has to say and whether you want to work with him.
Yes, because, you know, the original idea was I was going to have a conversation with everybody, then decide, and at the very least I was going to meet him alone.
I was gonna be there too.
Yeah.
I thought I was.
Yeah, it was Connor being very,
This is a thing you can all still decide together.
yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah, Connor is absolutely offering for people to join him, but he's going either way.
Do I not have my guns?
No, you do not have guns right now.
Not even my sword. I
No.
can't smuggle that in.
Why are you trying to upsell no guns to a sawed-off?
Nobody wanted to risk making a roll to smuggle their guns on board. So.
Dang. Okay. Does my rich friend have a double barrel by chance?
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely that he does his skeet shooting with a double barrel shotgun.
How many does he have?
I don't know.
I
Are you asking? He doesn't have enough that he won't notice if one goes missing. If that's what you're asking.
I mean, I can still ask her, man.
I mean, most likely just one or two.
I just need to find a hacksaw now. Not that I've acquired it, but I have a means. I'm thinking 3 steps ahead.
So, do you all attend the funeral?
I will.
Unless you have something you want to do during it, I'm probably not going to actually play out the funeral. Father Alvarez will officiate. The not quite widow. What do you call it when your fiance dies? Virginia Ridley, the survivor, will be there, and she's not inconsolable, but she seems less convinced than the others that he's actually dead. She's insisting that people need to look for him, but
I think Birdie's going to be busy looking for him.
okay.
And Joey, do you need me to stream the screen to you? have you
Yeah,
loaded
start a Discord call with me so you can share the screen with me.
Um,
I'm in the call. I just can't see anything besides a white screen in the chat right now.
You might have just as much success watching on YouTube. You're already streaming it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
the
you don't
YouTube
put
video
your camera
probably
on.
has like a 30-second delay if I know
Okay.
YouTube right.
Okay.
So let's just call me on Discord, sweetie.
Okay.
Don't mind me. I found a chip in my keyboard. That's why I'm freaking out.
All right.
Gotta mute myself so we don't get an ear screech.
Yep.
Is anybody else not going to the funeral?
I'm gonna be going to the funeral and just keeping
Oh yeah.
attention to what's happening there. Anyone who isn't
Yeah, I'll go.
present, and of course, anyone acting weird.
Yeah, the first thing
I'm
you
on a
notice
case
is
right now.
Birdie's not here. That's real suspicious.
That's very suspicious. I'm gonna write that down in my little notepad.
Okay. If you want to, you can make a psychology roll as you're spying on, not against Birdie, just on the other people.
Yeah.
You said you're trying to watch if anybody's doing anything suspicious, so you can make a psychology roll for that.
Alright. Let's see. Where's my psychology? Something I don't really use. Psychology. Oh, wait, no, that's Theodore. I need Victor.
You doing this just by yourself, or do you
I mean-
all tell people to also do this?
You're there for your reason. I'm there for mine. If you do it yourself, that's cool. But that's what my objective is. Yeah.
You can see that there is a lot of people aren't taking this all that seriously. As in, they're not being disrespectful to the dead or anything like that, but it's kind of a curiosity more than anything else. Not many people on board actually knew the man, and these people who have been on a cruise now have this story to tell when they go home about how some guy decided to jump overboard. Like, he just went nuts and jumped off the ship.
It's an oddity.
Yeah. So they're not being crude, they're not disrespecting the funeral, but you can tell that a lot of people here are more here for the story than for, to really pay their respects.
I get you.
The priest is clearly taking it seriously. He does his best. He didn't particularly know Chad Peters, but he does his best to...
Honor the man.
Yeah, exactly. And
I get you.
in particular to comfort the people mourning him. Your new friend, what's his face, the rich guy, give me just a second.
Yes.
Charles Astor is here comforting Virginia. He has a somewhat paternal air about him. He was an older friend of Chad's. He knows Virginia through Chad, but he's trying to be her rock right now.
Fatherly figure.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not picking up on her at all. He's trying to be a fatherly figure. He doesn't spare you more than a nod of recognition when you come in. He's pretty focused on that. And the middle-aged and elderly ladies on board are very focused on Virginia and trying to keep her, trying to give her some comfort. It is possibly not the most exciting part of the journey when you're just at sea for a few days, so it gives them something to do as well. You do not spot anything suspicious, like any suspicious behavior from anybody at the funeral. And with that level of success, you can be pretty sure you're right. Birdie,
Yes.
you said you wanted to look for Chad.
I am absolutely looking around. One, I'm keeping my eyes open for Handler so that I can attempt to harass him again.
What do you want to get out of harassing him again?
It's more for my own personal satisfaction at this point.
Okay, so you're just doing harassment. You're not trying to...
Yes. Not trying to actually accomplish any goals. No, she had a very rough time and she's going toxic white girl, okay?
Okay. That's fair.
But also looking for signs of cockroaches, I believe, is what he described crawling out of the dude's suit.
Exactly.
Keeping my eyes open for any cockroaches that are acting strangely.
Is this... Are you just walking around looking for cockroaches, or are you kind of asking around trying to see if anybody else has noticed an infestation?
Asking if anybody else has noticed any kind of infestation, listening for any other, like, missing people, anybody who hasn't showed up for their shift, stuff like that.
So, because you're asking, I will... I think you probably remember this, but, let's see. Chief Purser Dungus is currently missing as well.
Yep.
The consensus that you've heard is that he must have hit the bottle and is hiding away below decks. As you make your inquiries, you don't hear about anybody else going missing or shirking their duties. But Dungus hasn't turned up either.
Okay.
When you make inquiries about cockroaches, most of the crew is going to tell you, no, there's nothing to worry about. We don't have any. We're very careful about that. Some of them will be a little more frank and say, well, of course, there are always cockroaches on board a ship, but they're going to be, you are rarely going to find them in the areas where the passengers live. They would be living down in storage. They have to go to great pains to keep them away from the actual food, but they're going to be stowed away somewhere on board.
But for the most part, it's folks just brushing me off.
Yeah, there's, unless you make a particular point of why you're asking about cockroaches, they're assuming that you're just worried about cleanliness.
Yeah, I'll let them think that. Okay. In that case, I am going to see if I can get down to storage. And have I seen any sign of cockroaches in the halls at all?
Why don't we do a spot hidden?
Alright. Fluffy, give me some of your luck.
So that's pretty lucky.
Nice. Alright, there we go.
Hey, he's back. I just rolled a 69.
Yes, you did. So, no, you will not find unusual signs of cockroaches on the ship.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can make my way down to storage.
Okay.
Avoiding as many personnel as possible. to do so.
I think that this is going. I think by the time you've asked around about this and looked into cockroaches all over the place, the memorial service is going to be breaking up. So you can reconvene with some of the others if they want to join you on your quest, or you can all let me know where you're going next.
This would be taking place before the meeting at like noon afterwards.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then I would be trying to meet up with Birdie, checking one last time if she's willing to, you know, do the meeting and then make my way to the meeting.
Yeah, I'll go with you to the meeting.
Okay.
Because I don't actually want anything to happen to anybody, and she wants an excuse to throw hands.
So is everybody going to meet with Dr. Sun then?
Yeah, I'll try and help them out.
It seems like it. It seems like Connor
Separate
being willing actually
for a little
pushed
bit.
everybody to it.
Help. And just help from the side. Figure out what I can find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then, honey, you can't keep doing that.
She wants love.
Yeah, but she keeps hitting the microphone with her tail because she knows that I'm doing something with it. That yeah, he will be waiting in a smoking compartment for you, and his manservant Lomai will be standing by.
I'm just gonna throw it out there that this placement is incorrect. I'm standing behind Connor if I'm standing behind
You
anyone.
can put yourselves wherever you want. Dr. Sung is sitting comfortably and smoking. He's got like a cigarette holder and everything. Very classy. Lomai is standing beside his chair.
And I will have told everybody before the meeting what I saw when I witnessed the quote-unquote robbery, where his other manservant was apparently killed and he just lifted him overboard, tossed him off the side.
I don't think that happened. I'm trying to recall.
That's what I
If I remember correctly, the guy who robbed them jumped over
Yes.
the deck and went to
He
the next
jumped over
level.
the deck.
Right, he jumped over the railing basically right next to you and fell down to the next level of the ship and then started running again. Dr. Sung just asked you to go back to bed, and he was going to take care of his manservant.
And I sat there and watched, and I thought that they just tossed the body overboard, but maybe I'm misremembering that.
No, Lo Mai actually came. He went off, got Lo Mai, and Lo Mai came and carried away his original servant.
Okay.
Yep.
Wang Ma was his original servant.
Okay.
He is not trying to pass him off as the same person, even though they look very similar. So,
Okay.
when you joined him in the smoking compartment, he's going to tell you, "You all seem like capable people, and I am afraid that there is something evil on board the ship. think that this is something greater than a simple suicide or murder and theft. And I'm really hoping that you can help me to uncover the mystery.
Have you noticed any cockroaches in your room, perchance?
No, no more than I would normally expect. Why do you ask about cockroaches?
Well, seems a witness to the event went into the young man's room and found cockroaches crawling out of his suit.
Was the young man in his suit at the time?
No, just cockroaches. Oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's totally not a mythos check.
I'm afraid there are. I'm afraid I don't. That doesn't tell me much. That's. I can think of several things it could be. But. No.
What are those things?
I was muted.
Yes, you were. What are those
Could
things
I-
that it could be?
I'm afraid mostly I think of perhaps he was keeping food in his cabin.
Could I roll Mythos? I don't think I really heard about that.
Yeah, you can.
Cockroach. Yes!
Oh.
Don't forget, yins have books if you want to sit down and study for an afternoon.
Yeah.
Like it
I guess
doesn't
I'll
sound
study.
crazy to you that bugs could be connected to some sort of outside creature, but what it would be.
It's any man's guess.
Why are you at 51 degrees? You're idle.
Why is who at what?
I'm talking to my computer, sorry. It's at 51 degrees Celsius right now.
Forge is shockingly intensive.
I'll be right
You
back.
can change your settings to a lower.
Yeah, I've done that already. I don't know what's up.
This is a particularly big map with a lot of walls that might be affecting you.
Oh, that might be it. I'm checking after turning on my fan, and it has dropped 3 degrees, so I am in the safe zone again.
I don't know if I described this man very well before. He is very clearly over 70 years old.
I was gonna immediately go, oh, so he's evil. Got it. 'Cause every old character in a mythos setting is either crazy or evil. Sometimes both. Like,
There is. I can tell you one thing. I was not sure who to report this to, but I did see Mr. Peterson around 6 a.m. on the Sunday that he supposedly died. I saw him leaving his cabin after what they've declared to be the time of death. At the time, I didn't make note of it. I didn't follow him because Mr. Peterson is free to leave his cabin, but if you're telling me that there were some sort of bugs inside his cabin, I'm not sure that he was there at the time.
You saw him leave.
I saw him leave.
Did he look particularly hungover?
It was 6 a.m. I didn't see him stumbling. I didn't see him acting as though he had a headache. But he did act like many men do at 6 in the morning. He didn't look particularly conscious. He looked as though he were possibly heading to get himself a cup of coffee or some other stimulant.
Alright. Sorry, I had to use the restroom. What's happening?
Dr. Sung has told you that he saw Chad Peterson after his supposed suicide. He saw the men leaving his cabin, which would have been after they're saying that he died and before Handler saw cockroaches in his room.
Where would that have been?
He says that he saw Mr. Peterson leaving his cabin at 6 in the morning.
Would it be feasible to try to track someone in a boat? Is that a thing I could try?
Not really.
Along with that, it's been a couple days since then, or a day.
Yep. It was yesterday morning that Chad went missing.
I'm pretty sure the crew would be cleaning,
Yep.
so any tracks that you would have tried to follow would have been cleaned up.
More than likely.
Along with that, it's a ship. A lot of people come in and out through hallways.
Hey, even if it's a fool's errand, I still had to know. Well, what are our options right now? Are we working with this guy? Do we trust him? Can we tell if he's a bad person or not?
I mean, you haven't even asked him any questions at all, really. There was a bit about
What?
you know, what could cause him to have cockroaches in his room, and I think that was about it.
What? You said a book of yours was stolen. What were you doing with it?
I was studying it. I consider myself its keeper.
For what purpose?
It has a great deal of knowledge, particularly of how to treat human bodies both before and after exploration. And I, of course, am a doctor.
Did we get the name of the book?
It's the Book of Red Jade.
Could I roll for this, or did I
We
already
already
try
did
it?
that before.
Yeah, you already
Okay.
did. It is a debauched work of mythos knowledge, provokes shudders among all good Confucians and students of the classics. It blasphemes the works of Lao Tzu and Taoism, the emperor, and the entire divine status of the Manchu dynasty.
And I have made the joke that, so someone's going to die because of this book. Like,
I mean,
That
at
is-
least one person already has.
like that book, that book, just its description alone is worthy enough for somebody to die. You don't understand. Those belief systems, even now, are ridiculously important to people. Like, we make bungee jumping Jesus Christ jokes for a cross falling off the wall. You don't mess with Confucius and Taoist stuff. Like, you don't. Like, this is big, important, dangerous stuff. As a player, I'm saying this. Connor doesn't understand any of these words.
You feel free to ask him questions. Like, he is here asking for your help and basically saying, this is something that I think we need to deal with.
What exactly is your friend? He's no longer human, is he?
He was never human.
Connor's just nodding along to that.
Explain
Like, oh
yourself.
yeah.
Birdie's going to sit on the arm of the couch and just barely lean back to, like, have her back touching Connor's shoulder, just like...
I don't know how much knowledge you have of the world. Have you heard of the Chocho?
I know how to resurrect undead things, but I don't think I've heard of this.
They are not human, but they're something like our cousins. And Lomai and I have a certain arrangement.
And what, pray tell, that might be?
I can't get into the specifics exactly, but I am protected, and they make sure that I'm comfortable.
Can I try to get a closer look at him to see, like if I can't tell any differences between him and, like, a person?
Yeah, just walk up and study the guy.
Yeah, are you just like walking up, getting in his face, or?
A little bit, not like let's fight, but like I'm definitely sizing you up. Like, could I take you in a
I'm sizing you up
fight?
and studying you, like.
I mean,
You know
didn't
that
you get
obvious,
into a
though.
growling match with...
Oh yeah. We're
yeah.
keeping up that bit. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I think psychology is going to come into play here.
Again?
Well, you're sizing him up, right?
To be more technical, I am trying to like see what it looks like. I'm sizing him up, but I'm trying to see what makes him not human, not if I can actually take him in a fight, because the answer is yes. I already believe that.
All right.
Like spot hidden is what I'm leaning towards.
Okay.
I think you're gonna need more than just spot hidden.
Well, you won't need to roll anything at all if you're just trying to look him over and see what doesn't exactly look human about it. If you want to, like, get into physiological, like, real detail, that would be a science roll. Anthropology or really anatomy.
Doesn't someone have anthropology here?
I don't think anybody has anthropology above the base level, which is 1.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll still roll it. I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
when you
didn't
get
go
close-
anthropology.
This man is much shorter than you. Now, Dr. Sung is also much shorter than you, but he is, besides being Asian, he is over 70 years old. When he stands up, he's like stooped over.
Mm-hmm.
This man still feels short. Like, he's maybe chest height to you,
Mm-hmm.
He also looks incredibly solidly built. So whether you could, like, if you got into a fist fight with him, you're not sure who would win. But if you got into a wrestling match, no chance. He's gonna destroy you. His skin is, like, when you get closer, you realize his skin is redder than, like, he's not actually Crayola red, but just, he looks like he's, you would assume that he's blushing or that he's just been working out or something.
Kind of like a lobster shell.
Not quite lobster shell either, but yeah, definitely, like, it's visible.
Bit of
and when you
sunburn.
get close, you, like, when you're really paying attention, it's clear that it's not a color that humans usually are, especially when he's just standing here. Like, he would be having some sort of cardiac event, you'd expect.
I'll when I get close to him, I'll offer him a hand for a handshake.
He looks at your hand. When he realizes you're not going to do anything to him with it, he ignores it. And Dr. Sung will say, I'm afraid that's not a custom he understands.
Would you care to explain it to him?
He gives you a look and he says, not particularly.
Does he understand us? I haven't heard him speak at all.
I can speak to him. He certainly doesn't understand you, no.
And I'm sure he doesn't much appreciate all of us standing around staring at him and speaking in a language he doesn't understand. Birdie will say pointedly to Victor.
I don't think he cares that much, to be honest.
I will. You know, in those movies when, like, someone's trying to make, like, first contact and try to break a language barrier, that whole slow smile and try to, like, take his hand to give him a handshake, like show him through the motions, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, when you stand in front of him and you smile at him, he starts to smile back at you.
Mm-hmm.
His teeth are sharp and pointed, and his mouth comes up too far at the corners. And you are not entirely certain if he is smiling at you or showing you his teeth. And when you take his hand, he starts squeezing as hard as he can.
Does it feel like normal skin?
No.
Is it hard like rock?
It's not hard like rock, no. It is... It almost feels like it's not attached to his hand the right way. Like it's sliding around on the surface.
Ooh, I hate that.
You know what? I'm
That's
not
a
gonna try to.
description.
I'm not going to try to like beat him in raw strength because I know I can't, right? But I'm gonna hold it.
When I say
25?
he would beat you at wrestling, it's because he is very low to the ground and broad.
Oh, okay. I'll see how long he can last this grip.
Okay. Are you going...
Birdie's just pinching her nose.
He is going to roll strength.
Okay.
If you want to try to match or beat his strength, you can roll strength. If you want to just endure it, you can roll con. And if you want to let your hand go limp and just ignore what he's doing, you can roll dex.
No, we're rolling con.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Cotter is already pulling out a flask and handing it to Birdie because he sees what's happening.
Yeah, she's taking a swig.
They're just squeezing and outlasting and like growling at each other.
That's...
offering her a drink.
Yeah, he just does this as long as you stand there. He is
I'm
squishing
gonna-
your hand and growling. He's starting to growl in your face, and finally, Dr. Sung says something that you do not understand at all. The Chocho releases your hand, snaps his jaws in your face, and then goes back to ignoring you.
That answers so many of my questions. Thank you. I'll sit back down. Anyone else have anything?
Connor is.
How
pinching the
bruised is
bridge of his
Victor's
nose.
hand?
I want to know if I want to. Do I want to try and do that now or later?
They were matched.
We're gonna try later.
So, Victor, you're gonna be like rubbing your hand and definitely gonna be able to pop all your joints, but you're not injured.
I don't rub my hand, but I pop my joints just by flexing my fingers.
Okay.
God, now I have to do that.
James, what were you thinking of doing?
Just see if I can catch what he said.
Do you want to use your?
But I don't think I would want to right now.
Okay.
I think I'll do it later when it actually feels more appropriate.
Less like a party trick.
Yeah.
He tells you, unfortunately, Wang Ma was the only servant I have with me who was able to understand English at all. With his loss, I'm going to have to speak their language for them to understand.
Are there more like him on the board?
Oh, yes.
How many can I ask?
You know, I don't think I asked this, but should I roll Mythos on these things?
There are several. Yes, you can roll Mythos.
Come on, 19. I hate you. Hit and miss. Every other roll.
So yeah, you can still ask him if you want to, but you haven't heard of them before.
I should have just popped one of the eyes.
I don't think you would have made any friends that way.
I don't think
No.
I would Yeah, I don't think history would help me here in being able to see if I could remember if there was any.
No, history's not
Anyone
going
like
to do
that?
any good. It would be Mythos check.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Conceivably anthropology, but I would want you to have studied Chinese anthropology.
Yeah. Also, I would argue that I could roll Cthulhu Mythos, but I also don't want to double up on
Just
rolls.
roll it. Roll it.
Nah.
Roll it. Okay, never mind.
I mean,
Don't
if
roll
you,
it.
If you want it, I'll roll it for you. But
Oh no, I can. I have my character sheet open and working now.
Okay.
Oh, so I
I'll
don't
roll.
need to keep streaming for you?
Yes, we're gonna keep it up like that because we don't know if it's broken for me.
Okay.
There we go.
You can also again sit down with the books that you're carrying.
Fuck you. I love you.
So Connor just reads history books and anthropology books and whatever.
He's been
Connor
reading.
has a very weird grasp of knowledge. He just picks things up by hanging out with people and he doesn't forget it. Like, that's the gist of Connor. Like, he has overheard them talking about this specific situation while reading. They talk about the situation, but they kind of forgot about it, but Connor never forgets.
I feel like this wasn't so much that you learned something. I feel like this would make more sense that you just kind of obtain this knowledge because you're a prophet.
Ooh. I was just slammed with a random spattering of mythos knowledge, and this has just activated enough keywords in my head for me to be like, oh, I know this. Why do I know this?
Okay, so you have heard of the corpse-eating cult of Lang. You know that the name Cho-Cho means destructive sorcerer people.
Hmm.
You know that they make a delicacy of human corpses. which they have to prepare for multiple days before they eat it in the feast, spread over vegetables. They call it white pork sauce. And you have heard that if a human eats it, they will have interesting dreams.
Okay. So how can I let on that I know what this is to him and not the rest of the group right away?
I mean, you could mention white pork sauce.
Oh yeah, good point. Connor is going to just casually, just while everybody's done talking and kind of, thinking. Connor's like, there's a delicacy from that area that you're from. White pork sauce. Always been interested in that sort of thing.
Yeah, Dr. Sung's eyes will widen a bit when you say that. And he says, I can't recommend it myself.
It sounds like a foul thing by the name.
I consider it inimical to human health.
I'm afraid that's a
So,
fancy word.
so you're not the kind of man to go for that sort of thing.
Oh,
That's good news.
Certainly not. There are many medicines I can prepare. I prefer to promote health.
Birdie's just gonna raise an eyebrow at Connor. Excuse me? Why the hell do you know about this?
But I can see that, yes, you do have some knowledge of the world then.
I know a little bit of everything.
We've gotten a little bit off track.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I am...
Sorry.
As you can see, I myself am not in a condition to walk around the ship and make inquiries, and my friend Lomai and his other companions aren't able to speak the language. So I'm hoping that I can count on you to help me recover my book and prevent it from causing any further harm.
My primary question is, like Connor, I have a little bit of knowledge about things. And I'm not entirely certain what this book of yours has to do with human health, aside from avoiding everything it contains.
He smiles. He says it was written by an extremely learned alchemist. And not all of the things that he was learned in are healthy. But it contains a great deal of his knowledge. And you can see him, like, you can see the wheels turning in his mind. He says, now that I mention him, I don't know that this is connected, but there is a story that when he was due to be executed, he instead dissolved into insects at the execution ground. I don't know how credible this story is.
Considering some of the things we've seen, it's as credible as anything else.
Well, yes, I don't mean to say that such a thing would be impossible. I only say I don't know that it happened. There are many stories of his death. There are even claims that it wasn't him at the execution grounds, that another person was substituted and he was spirited away somehow. but I have never heard stories of what he would have done after the execution, so...
So he didn't make a miraculous recovery and reconstitute himself afterwards.
Certainly not that I've ever heard. It's my understanding that he wrote down the contents of the book while he was in prison. He smuggled them out to his wife, and she arranged the printing after his death. I've never heard any indication that he was involved in the actual printing of the book. It is... It is, of course, in Mandarin Chinese, which I understand only haltingly, and I don't imagine too many people on board understand at all. So we may hope that whatever damage is caused by the book will be slow or limited by that, but there are no guarantees. I have seen people with understanding that they shouldn't have, due to circumstances I don't fully comprehend.
I think we are all too familiar with the idea of folks being able to understand things they shouldn't. And I'm going to not look at James, and I'm not going to note myself on that one.
Honestly, you're not allowed to look at any of us whenever you say that, because, like, we all know
Yep.
too much.
Yep.
I have to ask, can I count on your help?
Yeah.
A book like that needs to find good hands to be in.
Yes. And what will you charge?
James is gonna look at everybody else on this.
Oh, I forgot that we can do things for money.
Money, knowledge. It's best not to... When I request a service, I pay for it.
Yes, you don't want to have a debt going on.
Precisely.
You're breathing very loudly into the microphone, Fluffy.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I want. I don't generally have this issue.
I think that in keeping with the rest of our adventures so far, I'd be willing to assist if we can keep an open line of contact with you in the future and perhaps have a small favor in the future.
An open line of contact? Absolutely. But a potential favor in the future is exactly what I'm trying to avoid by offering to pay you now.
Which is fair.
What do you know of Shanghai? Specifically, what do you know of the cults in Shanghai?
The cults I know less of. Until fairly recently, I lived in Shanghai. I worked as a doctor, and what are your political leanings?
Personally, I'm not terribly fond of government. It's necessary in many ways, but
My political leanings were unpopular in my home country, and I was forced to leave rather quickly.
Aha. So no guide services available then.
No, I don't believe I'll be able to return.
Fair enough.
My wife and 2 of my sons were murdered before I managed to flee, with my surviving son and daughter. I don't think I'll be going back to my home at any time in my life.
I'm sorry for your loss.
He nods to you appreciatively.
The reason I ask about Shanghai is because we have a friend who was unfortunately murdered in New York, who had recently been to Shanghai following up on some of his leads.
So you're ultimately going to Shanghai?
More than likely.
There are doors that my name could open for you, and there are doors it would be best to never mention my name around. I can give you some guidance in that direction, but it's possible that things have changed since I left. I have had only limited contact with the people I used to know in Shanghai since I left. So some situations may have changed without my knowledge.
Fair enough. We don't know. Oh God, where are my notes? I am looking for. I do not remember where our whiteboard was.
It is Miro. Give me just a second. I'll give you a link.
And I found our journal. There's our journal. Okay.
I am gonna ask, what was given a description of what the book looks like, if we see it as we're passing by.
Okay. Give me just a second. I'm gonna post the link. There you go. That's Miro.
This isn't
Thank
his
you.
place, correct?
Because we have the name, but I want to make sure I actually know how it looks, so I can keep an eye for that kind of book.
So I'm not going to go into the full description, but it is about 6 inches wide, 12 inches tall. It is
Pretty average.
woodblock printed pages that are bound with blue silk end papers, and 3 bound-in knotted red silk bookmarks. It's calf skin over hard wooden boards.
Okay.
The most obvious sign is on both covers there is a brass 3-clawed dragon with a single eye. I doubt that you'll find another book on board with that motif.
Okay. That's all I need to at least know to make sure if I see it, I know that that's the book.
Yeah.
Did they get any information about the assailant or theft of it?
Well, Birdie was there.
Yeah, good question. Do you know what the person who took your book looks like? Are they?
I'm afraid I don't. It was very dark at the time.
Do you know if they were smaller in build, bigger in build?
Could each each of you young men stand up for me?
I'll stand. Oh wait, no, I'm not a young man.
Yeah, I'll
He
stand up.
considers you a young man.
I guess I'll
I
stand
will
up.
also.
We're all young men.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
what are your heights?
Connor is around 5'10" to 5'11". Like,
Okay.
I'll say
I would say James is
5'11".
5'8", closing in on 5'9", still growing a little bit.
He's in his 20s, isn't he?
Yeah,
wait,
some of them are still
men-
growing a little bit. He's hoping to reach 5'10".
James is very
Yeah,
hopeful.
men stop growing around 24,
Kings.
bro.
Short kings.
Yeah,
So-
men stop growing around 24-ish, I think. Or is that their brains?
Trust me,
That's
we
their
keep,
brains.
We keep going.
Yeah.
And that's a myth.
He'll say it was dark, and I was pretty much immediately knocked over, but I think slightly taller than the two of you. He's talking to Victor and Connor.
So a man
Would I
is
have
around-
been able to take better note of what he looked like as he ran past me?
I think it's too late to do that now.
Okay.
I will once again ask. More muscular, or no?
He didn't look like a bodybuilder.
But
He
did it
doesn't-
look like a twig?
No, but it doesn't take a
Okay.
it doesn't take a whole
So
lot of
he was
strength
a-
to knock me to the ground.
Yeah, so he was a lean man that was around 6 feet tall. Facial feature like a facial hair or a scar of some sort.
I didn't get a look at his face.
Okay.
This is
Did he make any sounds at all? Like, did he say anything?
no. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. I was walking on deck in the dark. At best, I could see him silhouetted by the lights in the distance, but he just loomed upon us out of the darkness, struck poor Wangma down, knocked me to the ground, and took my book. He clearly was laying in wait for me. He was clearly looking specifically for my book. He didn't just grab it as an opportunity. Which concerns me considerably more. If it were just some strange mugging on board, I would assume that he couldn't read it and just try to get it back. But someone had a purpose for it.
Would be strange for a random mugging on a boat that you can't leave.
Most likely he's hiding.
Yeah, we can
Hiding
ask
in his
around.
room. And since he
We
wasn't
Yeah.
seen, he could actually just walk in front of everybody. And that's like a normal person.
we could ask around for a man that we had a wonderful conversation with, but we haven't been able to find him again and describe his build.
I'm afraid it's going to describe a lot of men, especially crewmen on this ship.
True.
What happened when he ran away again?
He jumped off over the railing down to the next level of the ship and then just ran away from that.
Isn't that like an 8-foot drop?
It is a considerable drop. You can go take a look and decide that you wouldn't want to do it yourself.
Yeah, that's
More than
that,
8
like,
feet. That's
Yeah, that's way more than 8 feet. That's like a ridiculously long drop. That's more of a drop than in most houses. It would be around 8 to
I
50.
want to
That's
say
a ridiculous fall.
also, I
that's
cannot seem to find any info on our leads in Shanghai.
yeah. We had
On
no
our
leads
mirror.
in Shanghai. We just had a postcard.
Very little. You know that
Yeah, we have a
Nels Nelson
We have a
claims
post-
to have seen
Go.
Jack Brady alive in Shanghai.
yeah.
Is that the only thing that we had for Shanghai?
We have the number and number and name of a boat, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
You had the boat.
I think it was A16 or something like that. God, I am searching like deep core memories here.
We've been playing this game for a while.
I'm trying to think.
Uh,
If someone was to drop that far,
oh, there's no question about it. The man would have.
they would at least
broken
hurt their
something.
leg in some way, even if they like somehow got in the correct position, so they didn't put as much pressure to break their leg.
Yeah. I can't imagine a man doing it.
Like, to get out of a fall like that unharmed, the man would have
Yeah.
to be a professional gymnast. Much.
There we go. There is a matchbook from the Stumbling Tiger Bar on 10 Lantern Street in Shanghai. And there is a picture of a boat. You can make out 3 digits on it, which I believe is DAR. And the rest of it is covered up by a junk sailing in front of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's
I
all we
will
got.
ask. I will ask if this guy's familiar with the bar at all.
One other thing while I'm thinking about it, and then I'll get right back to that. You remember you broke into a warehouse in England, and you found
Yes.
that the machine shop was shipping parts, and you found a gyroscope in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that from?
They were being sent to Shanghai.
Yes, I remember
Oh,
that.
yes.
I remember they were sending gyroscopes to Shanghai. But like that's just a normal trade ship, you know?
I mean,
like
we could still ask. It was done by a cult.
Is he part of a cult?
he
Probably.
is absolutely part of a cult. Like
I'm gonna ask him who he follows.
If you ask him that, he's absolutely going to say, "Well, no, I'm obviously not part of a cult," because he's
Yeah.
not going to consider what he does a cult.
I was about to say I don't think he's a cult.
yeah, Lo Mai is from a
Cult.
cannibal cult, and young Yao is like it is somehow has Lo Mai in like an indentured servitude to him. Is that what we would call this?
They made a deal.
Yeah, they made.
They have
a
a deal.
Yeah.
yeah, they have an understanding kind of thing.
I'm assuming that the deal is that Dr. Young gets them delicacies in exchange for their protection. That's what I'm assuming. Not Birdie. Brian.
Anyone that he can't save,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All
I
right.
would assume.
Like I'm the only person here that knows that they are they
Yeah.
are somehow linked to a cannibal cult, and I'm
Yeah.
keeping that under wraps until we are out of the room, because I
Yeah.
do not want Birdie shooting him 6 times.
I mean, I don't have my gun. I wasn't
Yeah,
allowed
you
to
will
bring it
find
on
a way.
board.
Guns are too loud. Sometimes you
Yeah,
just have to
you would, you
strangle a
would be
man.
feeding him the bullets barehanded then.
I don't want to get into a fight with a supernatural creature in here, thank you.
Don't worry, I'll fight it. I'll fight it.
Birdie,
So I don't think
Either
it's-
way, yes.
you're asking him about the bar. Do you actually have the matchbook on you to present to him, or are you just asking about the name?
I highly doubt that I would have brought the matchbook.
Okay.
I'm
I
the
think
type
that
of
would've-
person who
I
would
think
still
that
have the
would've been-
matchbook on him. I'm sorry.
No, I'm pretty
Ooh.
sure that would have still been in the bag.
Yeah.
Probably sitting in my room with all the other stuff that we have for this journey
Mm-hmm.
that we've gone on.
Yeah, all of that
I'm pretty
stuff
sure
would be...
James has been holding on to all that stuff, using it to go over,
Over and over and over
unless
again.
you specifically decide to keep it like the books.
Yeah. Oh, man, I really had a funny thing that Connor was actually occasionally taking a match out of the match, like the match, like box
Sure.
thing. And,
Yeah, if anybody smokes, you
like-
could have this in your pocket.
That's what I'm saying. My character smokes. I always smoke, and my
yeah,
characters always
like
smoke.
we absolutely smoke. So yeah, we probably have been cracking one off every now and then whenever we want to like sit back and talk about Hammer. We crack one of those matches open.
Okay.
Like that's the thing that I'm thinking.
Then yeah, you can pull the matchbook out. When you ask about the name of the bar, he basically says there are a lot of bars in Shanghai, but if you pull it out and you show him the address that's written on it, he'll sit and think for a moment, and he'll say, like you can see him walking down a street in his mind.
Yeah, he's in his mind palace right now.
Little less classy than that. You start to get the feeling that he spent a lot of time in this district. And he'll tell you, it's a very small bar. There's not a whole lot interesting in there. I've been once or twice, but I think it was mainly meant for Englishmen who are spending time in Shanghai. I wasn't entirely welcome. And to be honest, the place made me think of tuberculosis.
I don't blame you.
So the the place that you get the best kind of drinks.
We have different tastes, my friend.
Birdie's gonna slap Connor's arm with the back of her hand.
It's a district of bars and gambling dens and flower girl houses. You can get pretty much anything that you're possibly not supposed to have there. That particular bar is, I think, just one room. It's very small.
But not a place that your name would help us at all in.
Let me roll something and we'll find out.
He's making rolls. He's hiding the rolls.
I'm not gonna hide
Yep.
this one. He doesn't have. Oh, I'm looking at Lo Mai. I don't want to roll his. Obviously, he doesn't have Persuade or anything. There we go. Roll Dr. Sung's charm. So he'll say, yes, I wasn't... The clientele was not fond of me. But if you speak to Fergus McChum, the bartender, if you mention my name, he might remember me fondly.
All right. So if for whatever reason he doesn't have fond memories of Hammer, we can use yours to smooth him over. And does he have any recollection of the name Hammer at all?
He definitely wouldn't have from this last visit because he hasn't been to Shanghai for several years. But,
Fair.
Hammer wrote a bunch of occult books, so let's give him a roll. Yeah, he recognizes the name. he's not incredibly conversant with his books, but he'll say, "Yes, I've heard of the man."
Never met him though.
Not that I can recall. No. Did he spend a lot of time in that district? Do you think? Has he been there in the past?
Well, this is his matchbook.
Then it's possible we've run across each other.
If you haven't been there for a few years, no, probably not. Because if memory serves me correctly, I believe that was the last place he was at before coming back to New York.
It was actually sometime before. You've been kind of following backwards along his trail.
Ah, okay.
Shanghai was the first place he went then.
The first place on his last trip.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think if we have leave to use your name to get in somewhere in Shanghai.
Of course. Of course.
We're fairly comfortable otherwise. Unless anyone else has any special requests for payment.
I mean, I could talk to him about medical stuff.
I would like to discuss the occult
after we
with them.
get his book. Go and just talk about medical stuff and see if he can give me any pointers.
Yeah, he will happily exchange medical knowledge with you. And he is a sorcerer, like, if that's not clear.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I want to discuss the sorcery aspect with him.
What are you asking for?
Does he know any, like, spells
Yes.
that I could use to hurt people?
He looks.
I'm
He's
not
a
wording it that
doctor.
way.
He's using spells to save people.
Yeah, he looks a little disconcerted when you ask about hurting people. He says, "That's not really what I focus on."
I'm going to scold Victor for that.
I suppose there are spells that are less pleasant than others, but
Don't mind Victor, he has a vendetta.
to be frank, many spells. We are not physically or spiritually meant to cast spells. It can be taxing, and the same spells that can be used to assist people can also do the reverse, whether through negligence or intention. So, yes, I suppose I do know spells that can harm people.
I wish to learn.
And
You understand
actually,
that there's
there
a cost.
There's a cost to everything.
There is one thing I suppose I could ask of you. You heal. We recently had to undergo a bit of an ordeal, and some of us were more affected than others. Can you heal those sorts of wounds?
You're talking about wounds of the mind.
The mind and of the spirit.
There are techniques I know, but the sorcery, no. Sorcery cannot heal the mind. Any contact with the forces we weren't meant to wield, it can only damage you.
Fair enough.
I can provide teas and medicines that can help to soothe damaged mind to ease the burden. But in my experience, the only thing that can heal someone who has scars of the mind is time, and that is not certain.
Fair enough. I will take knowledge of those teas, though. I'm a bit of a cook, and I like knowing what folks use for things.
So he is a talkative old gent, and if you're happy to move on to discussing the proper ways of preparing tea, which isn't just like tea ceremonies, but he's talking about different herbs you can put in to enhance the flavor or to make them more likely to help you sleep or to think or whatever. He's happy to
absolutely.
move into that.
Yeah, so I guess we all have a little bit of something that we'd like to learn from him.
Perfect. This ended up being a very long conversation. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I was expecting this to end a lot worse.
Uh-huh. Burton still might not act.
Yeah. Like, I did keep a very big secret from the party to like make sure that everybody got along. So.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't hurt.
Speaking of which, do you want to have that discussion now, or are we going to break here for the week?
I will casually, whenever everybody was like, so, Lo Mai is from a cannibal cult. The sauce that I talked about was a delicacy the cult makes.
I was wondering why it sounded so much, more suspicious than usual.
Mm-hmm. I basically was asking him if he has ever partook.
And how, pray tell, do you know about this?
I have no idea.
Yeah, Connor, perhaps the best thing you can think of is that at one point you had a mask forced on your head and your mind was forced into contact with a god.
Yeah.
Hey, I did that too.
Yeah.
Well, you put the
I
mask
would
on your own
say.
head.
Yeah. Might as well. Might have been whenever I had a meeting with our wonderful, kind Egyptian god.
Obelisk the Tormentor?
Yes. Good job.
Alright, fair enough.
That's as best as I can give you. I've just known things since I've met the man or thing.
In fact, it comes to you at this moment that in China, not a man at all, a woman.
Yeah,
Lovely.
so it's a woman figure in China. So I should be using they pronouns.
I mean, you could
He,
use
she,
she
it,
for
they.
the version in China. You could, like,
It's
some of them,
different
to be honest, are it.
personalities.
Yeah, it is a god with
splits.
multiple like.
So you remember the name of the campaign?
Yeah, it has it has multiple personas.
But,
Yeah, and yeah.
Are we playing
So
Persona
yeah,
now?
I will also drop that. Oh yeah, there is a figure kind of like our acquaintance in China. It takes the form of a woman. It's a little scary that I know these things.
mm-hmm.
It's like I fell asleep in it's like I fell asleep in history class and I know what the teacher was talking about.
I did that.
I've done that for an entire school year.
I did that my entire school year.
So, do you have thoughts about where you're going to go next week?
Yes.
Yes.
We have ideas, we have plans, and we are going to have a lot of drama between Connor and Bernie. It's gonna be great.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Because Connor is starting to lean a little bit more into the hey, I might actually just flat out be the prophet now. That's great, right?
And Birdie is still grieving the loss of, what was it, 30 POW?
Yeah. Oh, poor 30 pal.
That's okay. James isn't crying over that.
45 pow sure is a
It's
lot.
just questioning why he tastes whatever he's tasted that day in his mouth.
Oh, yeah, you don't remember what happened.
I don't, but it's a taste.
Why do I keep waking up with fur in my mouth?
Where did this come from?
I keep waking up with fur in my mouth. Why am I craving steak very, very rare? And why is steak still disappointing?
Preferably salmon.
Ooh.
Tuna.
Yes. Let's go. For
Like
some reason, you're craving
ramps.
sushi
I also
a lot
just-
more.
Yeah, I'm just like, why do I want seafood? And not just to offer to Luna.
Right.
Uh,
Well, folks, thanks for playing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you for
Thank you
running.
for running.
I am still surprised.
I hope
Connor
I
is
made
alive.
it entertaining.
I mean, I had a good time.
Oh yeah.
Anything you want to say before we say goodnight?
Try some long pork sauce.
Don't.
No.
It is white
Be
pork
kind.
sauce.
Oh
Be
yes.
kind to each other. Be forgiving, and remember that we are all that we have.
It tastes like creamed
horrifying.
artichokes with a hot peppery aftertaste.
Oh, what? That sounds amazing to try. Let's
Sorry,
go.
Brian, I actually really agree with your sentiment there.
I can't even remember what I was going to say.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Good.